Have you ever wanted something really bad, or at least felt like it was something that you should want? Maybe it was being more religious. Maybe it was making more money. Maybe it was being a better husband, father, wife, mother, whatever it may be. Or maybe it was just getting in shape and you felt like you wanted the thing and you felt like you should want this thing, yet for some reason it was really, really hard to take action. For some reason, you just kept telling yourself you wanted this thing, but you just didn't seem to take action towards it. You never achieved it, and you just felt like, dude, what's going on? And I see people do this with their body all the time. This is probably one of the most common reasons why people struggle to reach their fitness goals is they tell themselves they want to have a good body, but they don't actually want to have a good body, or at least not in the traditional sense. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to overcome those mental blocks and kind of my personal story on this particular topic and why change is impossible unless you actually want to change. See, there's a lot of times where we tell ourselves we want a certain thing because society tells us that that's what we should want. Our family tells us that that's what we should want. But at the end of the day, we're only going to do what we want at our core. And we can lie to ourselves. We can lie to everybody else. We can tell other people that we want the thing that we think we should want. But until you actually want it for yourself at a deep, visceral level in your emotional core, you're not going to take action to achieve it. And I remember for myself, one really specific example was I had this one business mentor who was probably one of the best mentors I ever had. And even though he wasn't Muslim, his principles on integrity and everything that he taught me actually was part of what got me to become more religious when I started to look at how much in integrity with myself I was and realized that I was kind of out of integrity with myself with some of the things that I was engaging in astaghfirullah before I decided to let go of those things and surround myself in a better environment, become a better Muslim. And when I went to go live with this guy in Australia, my mentor Lynn, amazing mentor, love him to death. I remember I was trying so hard to become like him, right? He was, multimillionaire in the same industry as me. I was learning from him, I was working for him, and I was trying so hard to become like him. Wake up at 2 a.m. every day, go to bed at 7 p.m. every day. Yet there was this weird incongruence and there was this weird struggle where I just couldn't make it happen because there's a part of me that still wanted to go and have a social life instead of like focusing on business. There's a part of me that wanted to stay up late instead of waking up early. And I was always compromising and lying to myself, telling myself I wanted this thing. But the reality was I didn't take action. My actions didn't fall in line, at least consistently, to achieve the thing that I wanted to achieve as far as being the best businessman I could be because I had other priorities at the time. I think I was 25, maybe 26 at the time. And I just let myself get very, very distracted, even though I wanted to focus. And I tried my best to focus, and I was in the best environment with the best mentor to focus. There were still little things that fell out of line. And so, the same thing has happened in many areas of our lives. And I'm sure there's a part of your life where, usually it's body where it's like, hey, I want to get in better shape. Or for me too, it was like, hey, I'll become a better Muslim when I get married. Oh, and I want to get married, but I'm not ready to get married. So I'm going to keep doing all this other stuff. And, we just end up finding ourselves in a really, really dark place. And the worst thing is when you tell yourself that you want something, but you don't truly want it, but you keep telling yourself that you do, so you think that you do, but then your actions never fall in line, so you never reach the thing, so you end up playing in this weird danger zone. And so you're better off admitting that you don't want the thing instead of telling yourself that you want the thing, but then not taking consistent action and staying stuck in this weird middle road. And let's talk about fitness because that's the most specific example. Let's say you want to say that you want to have a six-pack, right? And maybe that's not your goal. Maybe you're watching this right now. You're like, no, I don't care about a six-pack. I'm a dad. I'm a mom. I just want to be fit. I just want to be healthy. I just want to have energy. I just want to be able to keep it without having to sacrifice my favorite foods with my family. And I get it. And that's what we teach you on this channel. So if you haven't already liked, comment, subscribe, do it. And then check out the other videos that teach you exactly how to do that. But again, let's say that you tell yourself, hey, I want to have a six-pack. Hey, I want to have a six-pack. Hey, I want to have a six-pack because that's what you think that you should want. But there's a part of you that doesn't actually want to have a six-pack, right? And maybe, let's not use the example of you, but let's just think about a certain example. Let's call him person A, right? Let's call him Ahmed because that's my first name, Ahmed. So you got little Ahmed here, and he keeps telling himself he wants to have a six-pack because he wants to be popular, he wants to be cool. But reality is he likes eating baklava every single day, and he likes to eat large quantities of baklava, and all he does all day is eat baklava. And so he tells himself he wants a six-pack, and he's like, no, I want to change. But in his heart, all he wants to do is sit on the couch and eat baklava. He doesn't want to go work out. He doesn't want to go eat healthy. He doesn't want to go cook. He doesn't want to go lift. He doesn't want to go do cardio. He doesn't want to go run. He doesn't want to go walk. He doesn't want to go get sunlight. He wants to sit on the couch or on the TV or on the computer and eat baklava all day long. And that's what he truly wants in his heart. But he keeps telling himself he wants a six-pack. And the funny thing is, if he just owned it and said, you know what, I don't actually want a six-pack. I just want to eat baklava all day. I just want to play video games and I just want to watch TV. Guess what? He would be that much happier because he would be in line with what he actually wants. But instead, he keeps telling himself he wants a six-pack. But then change becomes impossible because he doesn't actually want it. He's lying to himself. And so it's a little bit of an extreme example and a little bit hyperbole, but the thing that little Ahmed would need to do if he wants to overcome this addiction to baklava and video games and actually get a six-pack is he needs to take himself through a framework where he actually creates that desire to change. Otherwise, he's better off just owning the fact that he doesn't want it, and he's going to be happier that way. But if he keeps telling himself the lie, he's never going to achieve it. I'm going to make this relevant to you in a second because you're probably watching this right now and you're like, okay, cool, poor little Ahmed, but like, how does it apply to me? And the way it applies to you is there are men who come onto these calls every single day and they'll come speak to me, or even women as well. And they'll come in and they'll tell me, brother, I want to get in shape. Brother, I really want this. Brother, I need to get healthy. Brother, I need to have energy. Brother, I don't want to die from heart disease. Brother, I have all this stuff in my family. Brother, I'm dealing with all these problems. And they come in with all these problems and all these desires. But when it actually comes time to commit and do the work, they come up with every excuse and they run away. And that's why they're stuck. And if they just admitted that they don't actually want to be healthy, they don't actually want to have a good body, they don't actually want to be successful, and they'd rather just keep failing, they would actually be happier and they could get used to the failure and they could be the failure. But because they lie to themselves and they tell themselves that they want the success, this is the reason why they're unhappy. Now, it might sound a little bit bleak, and if you're sitting here right now, you're like, hey, man, I thought you were going to give me some inspirational words that were going to help me, and I am. Because there's a framework that you can use to create enough pain on the path that you're headed down and enough desire on the path that you want to go on, that motivation shifts. And in my personal story, again, I told myself for years and years and years that I wasn't ready to get married. I wasn't ready to get married. I wasn't ready to get married. I need to go experience more things first, blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't until my moment of pain on January 2nd, I sat on my phone. I was on my phone, going through all these contacts of people who I wanted to meet with and get to know and everything else in a context that is not exactly Islamically appropriate or permissible. And I just found myself having all this resistance because I'd gotten my heart broken so many times, and I saw how much emptiness it led to, and how going out every single night to try to meet people, on the weekends was ruining my sleep schedule, ruining my business, and ruining my life. And as I sat there in that moment of pain, and I just looked at how much pain it was causing inside of my life, that I was constantly chasing these people who would never be good for my future. And I was constantly chasing this desire to be a cool, high status guy in this party culture that wasn't even in alignment with what I wanted. No matter how much success I achieved within that domain, or no matter how much certain people looked up to me because I was confident, because I was good looking, because I was socially popular or whatever in certain circles, it just never fulfilled me. I just felt worse and worse and worse because I was further out of alignment from what I actually wanted. So the ironic thing is, the thing that I actually wanted at my core was to be a good Muslim and be married and be in love and have love and all these other things and start a family and be focused on my business. But because the Western society I was in told me that I needed to, see a bunch of people and have a bunch of experiences in order to feel like more of a man, because I was insecure that some of my guy friends had more of these things than I had, because in my core, I didn't even want these things, but I just thought I wanted to be cool in this, society that wasn't even aligned with my morals and who I am at my core. And so I always felt myself feeling super miserable and trying to push myself to do these things that I felt so much resistance. So as I sat there on my phone looking at all these people who, on this app, who had said that they were interested in meeting me, and I was looking at all these people who I'd met when I went out, who were hitting me up on Instagram saying they wanted to meet with me, and I knew exactly what to say to get them to meet up. I just felt this resistance and I didn't want to do it. And I said, dude, why do I have all this resistance? Is there something wrong with me? And so I went for this walk, and I remember, at the time I was living in this mansion in the Hollywood Hills, and I went to the top of the hill, beautiful view of the city. The mansion had a great view of the city too, but this top part of the hill was probably my favorite view, even though it's kind of a pain to get up there because you have to walk up all these hills. But I remember I was walking there and I just ran this thought experiment. I said, what if I just decided to go celibate and wait until marriage? What if that happened? Because obviously this path is just leading to heartbreak and misery and wasted time and late nights hanging out with people who I don't even care about, who are not good for my future. So why would I even, keep engaging in this? And so I just ran that thought experiment. What if I just stopped doing this stuff? Because I'd already kind of stopped going out because I just didn't even feel like going out anymore. And I read the thought experiment. I said, what if I just became a better Muslim, because I've been trading, my integrity with my faith for this lifestyle that's led me to nothing but misery and heartbreak. So, and hurting other people throughout that process and breaking other hearts, like my heart was getting broken, other people's hearts were getting broken. It was just not, and it wasn't all bad, but I'm just saying these are the things that were really paining me that got me to finally change. And so I sat there and I said, what if I prayed 5 times a day? And I started realizing every little thing. Like I was like, man, I was having some acne. Alhamdulillah, my skin is clear now, but I was having some acne. I was like, if I start making wudu 5 times a day, my acne is going to go away. If I'm waking up for Fajr, I'm going to be more productive. If I'm having the discipline to pray every single time, 5 times a day, then I'm going to have more discipline in my business and with my fitness. And I'm going to be more structured and scheduled with my meals and with my workouts. And I'm going to be more happy and more fulfilled. And I suddenly had this massive shift, and change happened in an instant. See, the thing is, everybody tells us that change takes time, and in some contexts it does. In other contexts, change is impossible, but sometimes pain happens in an instant when you have something that I've always called your awakening moment. What is your awakening moment? It's the moment when the reason becomes greater than the resistance. It's the moment when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of making a change. It's the moment when the desire to have the thing that you truly want inside of your core becomes greater than your desire for the instant gratification of the moment, or whatever society has told you that you should want that you don't actually want. It's that awakening moment when that reason becomes greater than the resistance, and the resistance becomes less than the reason, that you have the breakthrough and you move forward and you finally walk through the door and you walk the path to your actual destination. And may Allah keep us on Sirat al-Mustaqim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And Ameen, because, that's ultimately what I found my way to, alhamdulillah, was Sirat al-Mustaqim. And it's funny because I've done a couple of videos where I talked about this, and, alhamdulillah, the response has been amazing. And it kind of highlights the principle that when you take a step towards Allah, Allah runs towards you. And so, it's just been amazing since I've been on this journey, alhamdulillah, and becoming a better Muslim. And the more I learn about Islam, the more beautiful it becomes. When I see how the stories of the Sahaba, the Sunnah, and the Quran teaches us everything that we need to know in the modern day and age to function properly, because the morally bankrupt society that has been created, where people have no loyalty, no integrity, everybody lies, everybody cheats and steals from each other, there's no loyalty in relationships, husbands and wives are getting divorced and cheating on each other every single day. There's just so many negative things that are happening in the society that Islam prevents us from. If we follow Islam, when we do things for the sake of Allah, and we trust in Allah, and we take action in that trust in Allah, tawakkul Allah, and ultimately have the patience and the faith to stick things through, even if we're not initially getting the result, and enjoying the process, and praying to keep ourselves in hope, but then also praying to keep ourselves humble when we do see success. Everything about Islam is beautiful, and it just completes our lives and makes us the people that we need to be. And so it became a beautiful thing. And I realized that this religion that I constantly saw as a nuisance, I was like, why do I have guilt around dating? Why it sucks that I can't drink at these parties, which, that was something I got over pretty quick, because I learned how to get myself in social flow without the need for chemical substances like most people. I was actually teaching my non-Muslim friends how to get into social flow without, needing to take a substance that's damaging to their health. And if you're a Muslim who's drinking, I don't judge you, but I'm just saying, man, even if you weren't Muslim, come on, it's so bad for your health and for everything, and you're wasting the whole next day because you're hungover, and it's causing your liver to get inflamed, and you're gaining fat and getting a belly and feeling more stressed and band-aiding your problems instead of solving them. Sorry, I just have a tendency to rant because I'm so anti-alcohol, and I've been anti-alcohol even before I became religious, because it's just from a fitness perspective. But either way, when you follow Sirat al-Mustaqim, your life becomes better, then obviously your dunya becomes better. And of course, we should be doing it for the sake of Allah, but everything that we do for the sake of Allah is for the sake of ourselves, because everything that Allah tells us to do is in our own benefit. And I didn't realize that. I was like, no, that was back in the 700s. These days, dating is different, marriage is different, all these things. And I'm not saying that getting married the halal way is easy. It's hard. But at the end of the day, you're either going to find a way or you're going to find an excuse. But if you keep rationalizing and lying to yourself to justify your pursuit of instant gratification, what society tells you should want, when at your core you're a Muslim and you know that what you're doing is wrong, and you know that it's leading to nothing but misery and heartbreak and pain, which alhamdulillah I was fortunate enough to feel that pain, and finding that pain on January 2nd was enough for me to change and start praying 5 times a day and do everything I need to do, and then trying to strengthen my deen further and starting to push myself to wake up for tahajjud, alhamdulillah, and pushing myself to be more present in my prayers, and pushing myself to actually learn the meaning of the surahs instead of just going through the motions, and pushing myself to take my time even if I'm busy with my prayers, so I can be present and be as respectful as possible to Allah and to myself. All these little things have pushed me and have helped me become better. And so, inshallah, this video is kind of more about how to change if you don't want to change, but that's just my personal story on how to do that and how to get yourself to want to change. At the end of the day, I tell people this all the time who are interested in work with me, who I have to turn away, and I don't turn away everybody, but I turn away some people, because you have to want to save yourself as much as I want to save you, because I can't save you if you want to save yourself. Nobody can save you but Allah and but yourself, right? You got to pray to Allah, and you got to take action, and that's how you save yourself. And then obviously seek ilm, seek knowledge, seek guidance, seek accountability, seek coaching, whatever it takes to get you past yourself and your own obstacles and barriers, which is what I'm here for. But I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself. It breaks my heart, because I've had Muslim brothers and sisters come to me with these terrible problems, and I try to help them, but they don't want to help themselves. And so those people, I've had to learn, have to help themselves. And I used to try to save everybody, and some of these people I'd even sign them up, only to find that I was dragging them up the mountain and dragging them from the gates of hell to the gates of heaven, so to speak, and they were fighting me every single step of the way. And what I realize is when somebody's like that, they're just not ready, and they have to go through more pain before they're finally ready to change. And so as I finish up this video, the one thing I want to ask you right now is, what's coming up for you, and what area of your life do you feel like you need to change, which is struggling to change, and how can you put yourself in enough of a state of pain at the destination you're headed towards, and the pain that you're already feeling as a result of being out of shape, for instance. You got no energy, your health is poor, you feel embarrassed about the belly, all that stuff. What is that destination taking you to? and what's the positive destination? How can we get there? I want to wrap this up in 15 minutes, but if you have any questions, drop them in a comment below. Like, comment, subscribe. Inshallah, I'll see you in the next video.